And then I asked her, I said, um, uh, do you have a daughter? And she said, no. And I said, listen to this. I'm asking a woman, does she have it? She says, no.
Yeah.
I said, are you sure? Really? Right? Are you sure you
Are you
don't have a daughter?
positive you don't have a daughter?
Yes. And she said, no. I said, well, okay, so then who was the little girl standing right next to you leaning on your leg? She looked just like you and she was 4 years old. And she had that same look on your face.
Janis, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super stoked about our conversation.
Me too. Me too. Glad to be here.
Yes. So, okay, you have been a therapist for 33 years, right?
Yes.
But you are an intuitive therapist and a psychic. Tell me, when did that start and what the transition looked like for you?
Yeah. I love this question because it is one of my favorite stories to tell, and I'll try to make it as brief as possible, but the story is really, really cool. Um, for about 17, 18 years of my career initially as a therapist, I was a very traditional therapist. I was always aware. I always felt kind of sensitive to things. I always felt intuitive. But back in the day, I didn't know it had a name, right? So I just picked up on things and I just thought I was this rock star therapist, right? And then when I turned 40, which is about, I'm giving away my age, about 17, almost 18 years ago, um, everything changed. All of a sudden, boom, like I said, when I turned 40, I'm clairvoyant. I can, I see images, words, people, places, energy, relationships. I see through people like an X-ray, picking up stuff from items and environments and everything like beyond all the time. And then I'm talking to dead people, a medium, right? And I was like, wait a minute. So I first started out, this is a great story. I first started out at this psychic fair. I was invited to fill the space of a psychic that had gone. And the owner had invited me to read for her at some point. I'm like, okay. So I was a little nervous and I'm like, okay, spirit guide team, y'all gotta get my back here. So we were sitting around and she was at her desk and there were several other psychics. We were sitting around and I kept seeing this little girl next to her. And she was the cutest little thing, just looked just like her. And about 3 or 4, whatever. And then I went to go read a couple of people. And then she said, okay, Janice, she called me back. Let's go do a reading. So I brought my cards because I was Oracle card dependent at the time.
Mhm.
And so I had her do some cards, this, that, and the other. I said, do you have a daughter? And she said, no. And I said, listen to this. I'm asking a woman, does she have it? She says, no.
Yeah.
I said, are you sure? Really? Right? Are you sure you
Are
don't
you
have a daughter?
positive you don't have a daughter?
Yes. And she said, no. I said, well, okay, so then who was the little girl standing right next to you leaning on your leg? She looked just like you and she was 4 years old. And she had that same look on your face. And I said, because I keep seeing her. And she looked at me. She said, well, 4 years ago, I lost a child. I said, well, she's there. She was in these white patent leather shoes. She had these white little lace socks, this pretty little white dress. Like I could still see her.
Yeah.
And then she looked at me. I said, that's what I thought. She goes, okay, you're good. And that was my first foray in really, really reading.
Yeah.
But when my gifts opened up, it was fascinating because it literally was from one moment to the next, everything changed. But I didn't feel any different. I just felt more home. I felt more home because this is who I am. And so how I lived my life changed, how I interacted with people, how I interacted with clients, the speed with which I was able to get to root cause with clients, say the exact right thing with a vibration that resonated with their soul so that change could happen within 10 to 30 minutes. And it would take, and I say this humbly, but it would take a regular therapist 6 months to a year to do what I do in 30 minutes with somebody, in
It's
less than 30 minutes, because of what I see and what I hear, what I feel, and what I know, and how
yes.
strong my connection to spirit is. So it was rapid. It's rapid transformation, um, and and I realized that when my gifts opened up at 40, I was kind of given this name, the intuitive therapist, and I actually trademarked it. I've written a book. We spoke about this before. My
Yeah.
pockets, like it just was who I was and who I am now. And so
Mm-hmm.
that switch, it's like a light went on, and it just changed everything about my life. And so I
Yeah.
couldn't help but be psychic in my sessions, and I felt proud of that. And I shared that with people, and I wasn't scared if they'd run away or not come back. I couldn't care less
Right.
because I knew who I was. And so it's been the biggest blessing. Absolutely amazing.
That's
So
incredible.
it's almost
So,
20 years I've been channeling, so it's really cool.
oh, so
18.
how did your family respond to this?
Oh, that was funny. Yeah. So traditionally,
Mm-hmm.
if there's somebody psychic in a family, there's a history of it. There's a
Mm.
I'll say genetic, generational history, and it's usually strong on the mother's side, but also father's side too.
Right.
So it took about 3 years for my siblings and my parents, and even my friends,
Yeah.
to really accept that my gifts were real.
Mm.
And the way it came naturally too, but the way I kind of, I guess you would say, conditioned them
Mm-hmm.
to accept that, was that I constantly talked about my wins. I constantly talked about how spot on the readings were. I constantly talked about past life regression and what I channeled and what came through. And I just constantly talked about it. Because it was normal for me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted it to be normal for them. However, whether they accepted it or not, I didn't care.
That's right.
But they did, because I kept
Yes.
talking. And even beautiful, deep conversations with my dad, who was a very, very brilliant, gifted diplomat in clinical psychology. He came around. He realized he was also gifted too. My mother is. She won't really acknowledge that. One of my sisters. So it was like everybody, and my nephews, and now everybody gets it. Now everybody
Yeah.
sees it, and it's normal. Even my
Yeah.
friends have started to uh, pick up oracle cards and started to channel and become more open to spirit. And it's like, that's because of the exposure with me, and I feel
Yes.
very, very proud about that. So that's kind of how it all played out.
It's like you gave them permission
Yeah.
to lean into it and
Yeah,
to
I
surrender
do
to
that with
it.
a lot of people. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that. As a
And it,
woman, and as a spiritual woman.
mm-hmm. Yes. It's interesting that you can see other people's gifts and they can't see their own, you know?
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
Most people don't believe that they're psychic or
Yeah.
that they can communicate with dead people, but the truth is everybody is. Everybody has these capacities.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as, you may say you're not good at math, but how hard have you applied yourself?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
You may say that, oh, I'm not fit. Well, how often do you go to the gym?
Yeah.
How often do you validate things? How often do you acknowledge that they're real? Do you see? So it's kind of like along the same thread as that.
Yeah. So you shared that you left a marriage that brought you to rock bottom at the
Yeah.
time. Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
I'm grateful at this point to be able to tell the story as a strong woman.
Yeah. Yes.
Always a strong woman. And what happened was that I lost myself.
Mhm.
We had known each other. He was a karmic partner for me. And a karmic partner is a partner that our soul specifically chooses because of what that person is capable of being to us. Now, he and I had known each other for close to 30 years. and we had dated early on when I was like 27-ish. But for my own reasons, we did not move forward. Now, we were together. The first year of the marriage was great, and then everything tanked. In addition to that, I started experiencing the dark night of the soul in November of 24. And that lasted for 18 months. I lost my business. I lost my money. I lost my creativity. I gained 20 pounds. I became depressed. I became isolated. His energy blocked any growth that I could possibly have had. So there was a huge codependency on him in a couple of ways, financially especially. And then things got bad. Over time, he would end up showing me his true colors, and it turns out that he was ultimately a pretty cruel man. And I needed him to be that for me, because his behavior on the outside was who I was on the inside for me.
That mirror.
While I've never cheated on anyone in my life, he cheated on me in all the ways. I mean, you name it: lying, hiding things, gaslighting, scapegoating, accusing me of cheating. He's a dismissive avoidant, so he would shut me out for days or weeks at a time, and it triggered my attachment issue. Like, it was perfect, a perfect storm.
Yes.
So I was able to work on those things, the attachment piece, but the final straw came when he accused me of cheating for the last time in November of 25. And Spirit, by December, ended up saying to me, he's been cheating since November. And so he didn't know I knew that.
Yeah.
He underestimated me. But so when I said we couldn't fix this marriage, then things got very, very bad. I tried to live in the house as long as I could, but it's very, very true. Evil sends energy. And it was his absolute intention to tear me down and to take me down. And I came close. My nervous system, by the time I left in March, which was a few months later, this March, I was a shell of a human. I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't think straight, and even my cat died. So I outside of losing the life of my families and losing my life, I was at a point where I was going to have a fatal heart attack, because I already started to have symptoms that were very, very severe. I was going to go into a psych ward because I was almost about to go crazy because of everything he was doing, or I was going to kill myself. I was a hair away because I couldn't take any more loss or grief. And the susceptibility energetically of me to the cruelty of what he would do energetically to me put me on hold to life by a tether. And so I was finally able to leave, and he had gone out of town, and I'd been packing along the way, but left enough that he wouldn't know exactly when.
Yeah.
And then when he went out of town, I packed up everything and left. And so it took me about a good month to get my system to a decent regulation, because it was fully shot.
Yeah.
I was a mess.
Of course.
But then I got back to me. And I
Isn't it a
fought
beautiful
like
thing?
hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I couldn't let him take me down. I'll never let anybody take me down. So it was a perfect storm. He was the exact perfect person to teach me everything about the woman that you're talking to now, how to be her, how to stand for myself, how to be fine on my own, how to enjoy my own time with myself. I've always been able to do that. But this was even more so, how to put myself first, how to take care of myself, how to say no, how to just not do something I didn't feel like doing. It's like how
Yeah.
to let anybody go from my life without a thought. Because my motto has become, what do I got to lose? I've lost
That's right.
everything. I've already experienced that. Nothing scares me anymore. And so I'm grateful for that too, because when you get to that point, I mean, that's rock bottom.
Yes.
You're either dying or you're going to choose to live, right? And so I chose to live because there's too much for me to do here. So I'm a amazing phoenix, I'll tell you that. But grateful for the experience. Now it was hell, brutal, but
Wow. You're an
God, look who I am
incredible
now.
woman. Yes.
Thank you. You too. There's a
Yes.
saying, what you see in me is a reflection of you. So I'm going to say that to you.
That mirror.
Mm,
So
yeah.
explain for those who don't know, what is the dark night of the soul that you spoke of earlier?
Yeah. That is the dark night of the soul. It's literally, we are facing all the parts of ourselves that we have actively avoided.
Yeah.
And I consider myself somebody who looks at everything all the time. Like I'm in constant internal conversation with myself, looking at this, changing this, and that. But Spirit's like, oh hell no,
Yeah.
you, we gotta, you. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Spirit just gave it to me,
Mm-hmm.
reminding me. Spirit says, Janice, you asked for the quantum leap in your life. You've been saying, I want to play bigger. I want to do more. I want to be seen. I want to be on big stages. I'm going to write best-selling books. I'm going to sit in front of Oprah. I'm going to be on TV. I will be able to influence the world. Spirit said, you want that? Here's what you got to get rid of. So I'm yanking everything that you know. You're a Taurus, you're comfortable. No, you're going to learn to become comfortable with uncertainty, and you're going to learn to enjoy that and a half. I've learned to enjoy it. It's like, okay, great. What's new? Love it. But the dark night of the soul is really where you're facing, I guess some people will call it demons, right? You're
Yeah.
facing the darkest parts of you, the parts of you that you're terrified to look at. What
Yes.
would life look like if you fucking lost everything? Excuse my
Yes.
language.
No, yeah.
Most people don't experience that.
No.
They don't. But
No.
when you have, you it changes everything. It changes your perspective on everything.
Yes.
You become a certain degree of fearless than you ever thought you could be. So that's the dark night of the soul.
So what's the saying? It's people would rather live in the unknown, no, the known
Comfort.
hell than to choose the unknown heaven or something like that. I
Yeah,
butchered that, but
exactly.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
people stay in their comfort zone
Yeah. I
because they
stayed
are
in my marriage. Yeah.
terrified.
Yeah. I stayed in my marriage way longer than I should have. Even
Yeah.
though we were married for 2.5 years and together for 4. I mean, that's a short time. But the amount of work
That went into, yes, just
that
in that
happened.
time. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah. So for the women um, that are going through similar situations or find themselves just knowing there's more out there or there's more that they need to discover about themselves, but they feel like that they are stuck in relationships, or I mean it can be anything. I mean a job that they no longer align with. What would you say to them because of this incredible experience and hell that you have been through to come out on the other side?
I would first say you have to fight for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
if you're putting up with something substandard in your life because you're too scared to take a chance to change your life, then you have nothing to complain about. You don't have a right to complain.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
There's so many people who have been disadvantaged and who get back on their feet, and not just get back on their feet, but they change their life entirely. Um, my belief is the only reason why people um, stay stuck. We're never really stuck. We're just
Right.
too afraid to
Yeah.
move, right?
Yes.
Um, is because they don't know what's going to happen next. There's no um, net to catch
Yeah.
them, right? But
Yes.
Spirit, God gives us ideas. God gives us ideas in our heart about who we are and what we can create and what's there. I mean, think about J.K. Rowling. She wrote Harry Potter on diner napkins. And look at her.
Yes.
We have all these things that if people weren't wildly, absurdly assumptive, that the craziest things are possible, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have AI, we wouldn't have electricity, we wouldn't have all these things that people who were judged as crazy for
Yes.
taking a leap contributed to the world. When you
So,
look at your life like that, that the
yeah.
fact that if you choose you and you take a chance, there's no way you could fail,
Mm.
because either you're going to learn a lesson or you're going to succeed, one or the other.
Yeah.
So it's just being too scared. And I get it when you say, "Oh, I got mouths to feed." You know, she doesn't have any children. You're right. I don't.
Mhm.
And I also know what it's like to have things in my life that I was terrified to lose. And they got taken anyway. I've been fired from jobs that I knew I hated, but I said to myself, I can't leave because of the money.
Mm.
Guess what the universe does when we say that? It's like a cruel joke, but it's like, oh, really?
Somehow you
Yep.
make it, right?
Yep. Your heart is pulling you to do something. You know you're not at peace. And Spirit's like, well, if you're not going to do it, I am.
I'm gonna do it for you.
Here we go. There's the carpet yanked, right?
Yes.
So we can energetically set ourselves up. But um, if you're in a position where you really feel like, you know what, now's not the time, I respect that. And I also say, don't stop dreaming.
Yes.
Listen to what is in your heart, because your heart is a second brain. Your heart really is God talking to you.
Yes.
And so when you ignore that, then you're not really hearing truth. And everybody has $1 million idea. Everybody has an ideal aligned profession, way of living. Everybody has it.
Yeah.
If you ignore it, you ignore it. Okay. But everybody has it.
Yes.
So imagine, I say this to people, and I'm going to say it to your listeners. Imagine what life would be like if you knew you wouldn't fail. And I'm going to switch it up. What would life be like if you knew you could succeed? What would you do?
Yes.
And it's all about perspective, right?
It is. It is. And everything around us, like you said, AI and like anything that we see, it started as imagination or a dream.
Yeah, right.
Like that's how it
That's my
started.
point. Right.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
It's incredible.
So yeah. We could talk ourselves out of so much. And I get it. And I totally understand, you know, you got mouths to feed, you got bills to pay, and you have a steady job that gives you a decent income or helps you pay some bill. Get it. I get it. It takes a lot of courage to take a leap where there's no guarantee.
Yes. One thing that I tell people when I'm speaking with them and they're afraid or they're worried, I always say, you are sitting here right now. So that means that everything has worked out up until this point. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
And so,
But that's having faith in self. You're teaching them
absolutely.
faith in self. And so when people uh, come up with excuses, it's like, okay, but who do you believe you are? And what do you believe you're capable of? Because that's really what it's about,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And for many women, self-worth,
Yes.
finding that self-worth.
Even speaking up in a relationship, even being after being married for decades, you
Yes.
know, unless you know who you are and show up that way, you're going to be
Mm.
hiding parts of yourself that you're terrified for your mate to see, or
Yes.
your children, or your
Yes.
siblings, or your community,
Mm-hmm.
or relatives, and you're like, oh my God, if they found out that I like kickboxing, or I'm into this spirituality, or I'm really this, I have a stripper pole, and I swing around it in the basement at night when nobody knows. Oh my God, what would they think, right? But when you God willing, most women in in midlife,
Mm-hmm.
50s and beyond, you get to a point where you start not giving a shit about what people have to say.
Yes. And
And it
what
doesn't mean
a
you have to, yeah, it's so liberating. And
yes.
you don't have to get rid of your relationships or throw away your marriage or
Mm-hmm.
cut your siblings off or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get to decide who is in your life and how they're in your
Yeah.
life. And you get to decide how much energy somebody takes or whether or not they have access to you. You
Yes.
get to give yourself permission slips that you would never have given yourself
No.
at 40 or 30 or 20. And life just
Yes.
gets better the older that you get because you really don't care. So,
I agree.
uh,
Yes.
yeah. So that's a big answer for that
Mm-hmm.
one little
I love it.
question.
And you get to decide who you really are, not who they expect you to be.
Right. That's a big one
You throw that
because,
out the window.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear women all the time. They say, "Well, how do I do that?" Like, my husband's gotten used to this, or my wife's gotten used to this, or my children have got used to me being
Mm-hmm.
this way, or always being available, that kind of thing. So, how are they going to accept the fullness of me if I start cussing, for example, and I never did? Or if I start taking salsa lessons when I've never listened to Latin music outside of my own speakers in my
Mm-hmm.
ears? So there's a lot of fear of being rejected from the people that we love the
There is.
most. Um, and here's the thing I say too, which is when you know who you truly are,
Mm.
when you have accepted yourself, when you really know your worth,
Mm-hmm.
when you are so committed to putting yourself first by standing by who you are to the point where you are willing to do it all alone for as long as it takes,
Yes.
then you don't worry about what other people think.
That's right.
You know,
And no, and they're not your people. They may not be your people.
it may not be your people.
That's
Yeah.
right. They were for one chapter or a few
Yes.
chapters, but maybe not the
Right.
next.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what about channeling?
Aha.
How do you explain channeling and working with spirit guides to someone who really has never encountered it or doesn't understand it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Channeling is one of my absolute favorite things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want people, I'll talk about the act of channeling because I want people to really I'm a very visual person. So my primary way of receiving information is through my third eye, through sight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So spirit, when I say spirit, I mean somebody's spirit guide team and my spirit guide team and spirit. I call them it's a collective wisdom. I call them they, and
Mm-hmm.
they show me images, words, people, places. I had mentioned this at the top of our session today. They show me things I can see,
Mm-hmm.
and so for those people who are very visual, I want them to imagine that those of us who channel are like how did I say this word? Like a funnel, like a tube. And when
Yes.
I channel, My ego moves out of the way, and I just become like an open container for spirit to move through, like this, just kind of down and through. But it usually comes out here, out of my
Mhm.
mouth. Um, so that's how the information comes through. Now, when we talk about spirit guides, or we talk about spirit, we're talking about energy. We're talking about a higher level of energy that isn't from Earth. Okay. Our spirit guides, our angels, archangels, ascended masters, beings of light, um, they are from the spirit realm. They work very, very closely with God. They are messengers. They are all of that. Their spirit guides are with us from the moment we're born to the moment we die, and every experience in between. There are multiple different kinds, and they give us information. So when I channel uh, a psychic channeling experience, I'm working with all of that. And as I shared with you before we got on this recording, I work with Archangel Michael very, very closely, and I love him, and he makes me hot. And
Mhm.
because he's very intense and he's very,
Yeah,
very
I've
big, he
heard
takes
that.
up the whole room. But he's such a smart aleck, and he's
Mhm.
sassy, and he is straightforward because I need that. Spirit uses
Mhm.
me. I'm very direct, and that's how I work best with people. And I've
Mhm.
worked with Buddha and Jesus and Mother Mary and uh, other archangels and ascended masters. And so it's just a matter of who shows up. But channeling literally is a process of receiving information either through hearing, seeing, knowing, or feeling. And then it gets translated into uh, two words if you're sharing it, right? So as an empath, I am what I would call a severe empath because I'm
Yeah.
terribly sensitive to everything.
Mhm.
I am sensitive to the moon, to the astrology, to the cosmos, to world events,
Yes.
to just everything. And so that's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But it's a blessing when I channel because I pick up everything of the
Yeah.
person that I'm reading for. So
Mhm.
I'm able to see medical things, medical intuitive. I'm able to tap in to the truth of who they are.
Mhm.
And I feel what they feel. So if they've got an ache or a pain or an issue, my body picks it up. So it's a beautiful avenue for me to be able to help them get healthier. So
Yes.
again, I give big answers to small questions.
I love it. No, no, that is a perfect answer. So is it something that you um can turn off, or do you walk into like the grocery store and you start
Yeah,
getting all
you know
these
what?
messages?
I I cannot turn off picking up energy.
Yeah.
That is just a
Yeah.
constant. I can ground myself. I can protect myself before I interact with anything, before a phone call, a text, an email, going out to the store or a big event where I'm around a lot of people. I
Yeah.
can do that and I can protect my energy,
Mhm.
but I am literally like a human x-ray. And you have to be a very special person to be able to be my friend and be in my life because I see, hear, feel, and know everything. I feel like it's like, oh my God. So I can't turn receiving the energy off because my vessel is so highly attuned.
Mm.
Um, but I can quiet down and mute more uh, what I receive from people
Yeah.
sometimes, just so that I can be kind of human and
Mhm.
have a decent conversation. That's how best I can explain it. But my
Yes.
antenna is always up, and my uh, tuning fork always on.
Mhm. Mhm. That could probably get a little intense at times. Do
A
you ever
lot,
get, yeah,
a lot,
I'm
a
sure.
lot, a lot.
Absolutely.
I
Mhm.
I I have gotten to the point in my life, especially after everything that I just explained to you
Yeah.
about the dark night of the soul and leaving a marriage and recovering from the totally obliterated nervous system. Um, I don't care to be around very many people. I
Yes.
really
I
don't. I
can
really don't.
see
I have
that.
the people in my life that I love. My circle's very, very
Yes.
small.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear from women so often, Janice, I don't like to be, I'd rather be home. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go out. I just would rather be with my wife or my husband or whatever. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
There's nothing wrong with that. I protect my energy that way. I go out when I want to, and that's not very much.
Yeah. I can relate with that completely.
Yeah,
Completely.
right.
So you wrote a book for therapists. Is that right?
I did. It's called The Intuitive Therapist. Yeah, a
Mm.
dream. It was a dream.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about that book.
Yeah, that book I wrote for therapists, coaches, and counselors to help them accelerate their clinical practice.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share everything that I learned just through my spiritual growth, the practices I I learned to help me become more intuitive. I wanted to teach therapists how to really get in touch with their truth, with using their intuition instead of their agenda, because most therapists go by an agenda. Like
Yes.
they know this client's got this diagnosis, and from the last session they said this, or they haven't seen them before, and they have this whole pre-programmed sets of how they need to be and all of that. And my approach with clients is just different.
Yeah.
I love being present, and I love knowing all about the diagnoses and the strategies, because I've been doing this for 33 years, been a therapist
Yeah.
33 years. I know my business. I know how to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I love being present, and I love following the breadcrumbs, and I love putting my agenda and my ego aside, and I love just being there in the moment and going with the flow. And I love to challenge people's thinking. And this is connected to the book. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
it, because you can't grow if somebody doesn't challenge your thinking.
Nope.
So I love it. I love stunning people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you follow your intuition, you're going to ask questions and approach them in
Yeah.
that way.
Yes.
So the book was three parts. The first part was really more of my story and how everything changed in the different parts of my life that contributed to being the intuitive therapist. Then there's the intuitive development part of the book, which is a huge, huge part. And then the third part is really how to be a phenomenal therapist. And it talks about the therapeutic dance, that it's a dance, right? And the client leads, and then the therapist leads, and it's this beautiful, rhythmical, I love Latin music, so it's just this dance, right? And then it talks a little bit about how to build a intuitive business. But I find that I remember speaking I was a plenary speaker years ago at the social work annual conference. It was like over 400 people. And this was the first time they had talked about anything spiritual. And they chose me and my book to be featured. And I
Of
spoke
course they
about
did.
intuition.
Yeah.
And the room was silent for the entire hour and a half. And it was beautiful. And I got to
Mm-hmm.
show people, I got to show therapists what it looks like to have no shame about who you are, to have
Yes.
no shame about uh, channeling or talking to spirit or trusting yourself, or how intuition is so real and how it shows up in your work and how you can use it, and how if you rely on that, you're going to be a million times better as a therapist than you would if you just use your thinking mind and some DSM 5, 6, 7 diagnoses points.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest things, that when people came to me, they got the book. And I can't begin to tell you the amount of people that came up to me and they said, thank you for giving me permission to speak openly about the fact that
Mm.
I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I channel, but I don't tell anybody. I'm too scared to tell my clients. I'm like, oh, you need to stop that,
Yeah.
because they won't run.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I wrote the book because I wanted to give all of that to whoever read it.
That's
And
incredible.
many, many lay people have read that book and have grown from
Hmm.
it in their own right. And so it
I
was a
love it.
dream come true. That was my first book. I have many other books I'm in the process of writing, but that was the
Hmm.
first one.
That's incredible. And it's so needed. I
Ah,
mean,
yeah. The permission slips all over the place,
yes.
right?
Yes.
With being a woman in her 50s, with claiming your own life, with realizing your worth, with being a better therapist. I mean, everywhere.
Yes.
And we got to give those permissions to ourselves.
Yes. So how, speaking, if you were speaking to someone
Yeah.
about their intuition, how to start listening to your intuition,
Mhm.
what is the first, what would you say was the first step?
Yeah. Well, there are a couple things. One is I am a huge fan of making things real.
Mm.
And one of the ways we make things real, I heard somebody say this years ago, and I was like, they're exactly right. It was if you write something on a calendar, it becomes real.
Yeah.
Instead of you just saying, oh, I'll do it. It's like, oh no,
Yes.
I've just written that down. Oh, now it's real. I got to do it, right? So I always say to people, pen, paper,
Yeah.
write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, each of us has a primary way of receiving, and it's either through hearing, seeing, feeling, or knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you've got to learn which is your primary, what we call clair. It's the French
Yes.
word for clear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share with your audience a very quick way to figure that out. Imagine you are opening the door to a restaurant and you walk in. What's the first thing you notice? What you see, the music you hear, the conversation, what you feel, the energy of the place,
Mm-hmm.
or what what your thoughts are about it, what
Right.
you pick up.
Right.
And when you can identify that, that's your primary clear. And then the
Mm.
other ones support you.
Mm-hmm.
So trusting your intuition is about these subtle nudges, these fleeting awarenesses that are so quick, you'll miss them a lot, right?
Yeah.
But if you give yourself the opportunity to just be a receiver, and you don't talk yourself out of it, what you receive, and you notice the synchronicities, the accumulated signs that support one thing, right? You hear a song 3 times, or you ask a question and the answer shows up in a TV commercial, in a conversation you have, or through a sign, a billboard on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that's intuition too, to pay attention. Right? So it's
Yes.
a muscle. It's like going to the gym. When
Mm-hmm.
you don't become this gorgeous svelte woman by going to the gym and
You
walking on
don't?
the
Wait, that's
girl,
not
I wish
how it
that was the case.
works.
I really wish that was the case. But it's a right, it's a muscle, so you gotta
Yes.
use it every
Yes.
day, and you gotta uh make the weight a little heavier to tone more, so you've got to practice it more.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just a couple of things. If somebody's interested in really fully getting into intuitive development, I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, and I'm selfishly promoting, give them a
Mm-hmm.
book. It's
Yeah.
called The Intuitive Therapist. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and online, and it will really help you. There are so many tips and tricks that I give in there to really start to build that inside. It's your best
Incredible.
friend, and it
Yes.
never steers you wrong. Um, Even if you think that, I trust that, I thought so, you're in the right place, you got the right answer.
Yeah.
Because again, if you felt like it was a failure, it's a learning curve. You won't do it
Yes.
next time, right? Or you'll validate it because it'll be successful. I got it and I took action on it. That'll be a
Yes.
success.
Yes. Thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
huge. So, when someone books a session with you,
Yeah.
what does that look like?
Looks like so much fun. It's so good. So good.
It's gotta be. I know it
So
is.
it's so good. So when I'll start with the psychic readings that I do, because mediumship is different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the psychic readings really what I've come to do as a practice, of course, I'll meditate beforehand, I'll ground my energy, I'll protect it, I'll clear it. And then what I'll do is I will say the name of the person, and I will ask spirit, I will ask my team, I will connect with their guide team. And of course they know this already. They know I'm doing this. I don't willy-nilly check into people's energies. That's unethical and spiritually illegal,
Yes.
so I don't do that.
Yes.
But they give me express permission to do that. And so I get information ahead of time. I get the theme for the reading. I pick up on questions that they've actually written down, but they don't send me. And so I'm pre-channeling all this information, and then I share it with them at the top of the session. And like I shared with you before we started recording, I tell people, I'm going to give you information you're going to flat out deny. You're going to tell me you don't think it, you don't feel it, the trip was not planned, you're not moving, this thing's not going to happen, you name it. And I tell people, take what resonates and then watch the recording. And 9 times out of 10, people will come back to me and they'll say, oh my, bam, 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 bam. And I go, I know, I trust them. I trust them. I don't take credit because I'm that channel, right?
Yes.
I'm just the channel, the messenger. So that's what happens in a psychic reading. So, it is very, very fulfilling on both ends, in all honesty. Now, for a mediumship reading, for channeling people who've passed, it's different. I do everything to prepare that I did and I do in a psychic reading, but we can channel people who've passed in 2 ways. One is they're often in the room with me. And so they'll give me the information. I will be able to sense their personalities. Sometimes they're behind me. Sometimes they're beside me. Sometimes they're looking over my shoulder, my head. And they will tell me things in a way that they would have said it, that the person on the receiving end would say, oh my God, that's my mother, my grandmother, my father, my brother. Or so they give me, it's really empirical. It's true data, because I wouldn't know how to say something or what to say or what they called them unless I was given that information or specific details. They give me their names too. Now, there's another way, which is called trance channeling, trance mediumship. And this has happened not often, but it's happened enough where it's truly one of the coolest things ever, is that I will move out of my body and the energy of the person who's passed will occupy my body and we'll have a conversation. And we'll answer
in the movie
questions.
Ghost.
Yeah. That what happened? Yes. And so, and then when they're done, they leave my body. I kind of come back and I don't remember what's said. 95% of what I channel, whether in a psychic reading or in any other channeling, I don't remember. And the reason why is because that information is not for me. It's for the person on the receiving end. It's not for me to keep. I'm just to share it, right? And so it's really, really cool to be able to do what I do as a channel. I can't tell you how fulfilling it is, especially when people release and they're like, "Oh my God, this made such sense," and it's life altering, and their hearts have healed from hearing from their loved one.
Yes.
It's just we Jews call it a mitzvah. It's just such a good deed, and I'm so grateful to have been able to have these gifts and use them.
Yes.
That's why I love doing it. Love doing it.
So what does, when you trance channel, what does it feel like in your body?
I'm not in it, so I don't know.
So you don't know.
I'm not there.
Afterward, can you tell? I mean, does it
I could tell when I'm back in my body.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah.
Yes.
But
that's so interesting.
But I don't. I'm not present. I've moved out of the way.
Yeah.
My energy is literally left my body. It is.
Yes.
It's so cool. It is so cool. But all of that, it takes energy. And unless you really have a very, very solid practice of grounding and cleansing your energy and banishing any negative energy and opening and closing the portals every single time you read for somebody or channel, and then call all your energy back. If you don't do that, it will wipe your energy out. So there's got to be a really, really good solid practice of that.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
So you say you are going to sit in front of Oprah one day.
Oh
I
yeah.
love it.
Oh yeah.
So what will your message be to the world? What do you want the world to hear?
I want people to know that the highest vibration is authenticity.
Absolutely. Yes.
The highest virtue is love, but the highest vibration is authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And we are all here to remember who we are.
Yes.
Okay. And when you know who you are, when you remember, when you become so solid in who you are, when you're able to stand alone and be fine, when you're good with yourself, when you practice fidelity to self, when you have solid boundaries, and when you back your own self, that is, like I said before, it is the surest way to live an aligned life. And we spend our entire lives, the first part, probably up to about 30, trying to figure out kind of who we are.
Yes.
And then maybe the next 10, 20 years, realizing who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then the remaining years, God willing, if we're still alive through 80 and 90, we kind of like want to forget that and just not worry about who we are, right?
Yes.
So I just, it's so important for me. And I have such a huge why around this when I work with women, because this was my journey. This was my brutal process of but of coming to the center and the truth of who I am, of being the person that gets to show women what it looks like when you stand for yourself.
Huge.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna sit in front of Oprah one day. Spirit has made it very, very clear that I'm to write more books. I'm an author by nature. I am a wordsmith. I believe in the power of words. And that's how I work with people. That's how I help people shift and change is through words. And so I will be sitting in front of her with my best-selling books.
I can't wait to watch that episode. I'm ready.
I'll let you know. Oh yeah.
Please do.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about this through the episode. But I want you to share what is the very thing that you want women listening to walk away with tonight?
Know who you are. Trust that. And always be faithful to yourself.
Unapologetically.
Yeah. Keep your promises to yourself. Take care of yourself. Honor who you are, what your needs are. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and stand for yourself. The highest honor you can give yourself is to be your best friend. Be your own best friend.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. And so many women need to hear this.
Yeah.
And I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been wonderful. I've loved being here with you. This
has been wonderful. Tell everyone how they can reach you, how they can find you.
Yeah, I am on Instagram at The Intuitive Therapist. That's where I am mostly. My website is janisrcohen.com. That's JANISRCOHEN.com. You can reach me through my website. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much it.
Okay.
There are other ways, but it's predominantly those two. Yeah.
Awesome. And your books, they can find them, like you
Yeah,
said.
Amazon online, Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
Barnes and Noble is called The Intuitive Therapist. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, many lay people have read that book and really have grown from it. Yeah.
Yes.
And that
Perfect.
had, podcast is called The Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen on iTunes and across all platforms. And yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Janice. And we are also planning um a special podcast episode where you channel. So we don't exactly know what it's going to look like right now, but I am
Right.
super excited about that and want that to happen as quickly as possible. So Janice
Love
will
it.
absolutely be back.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love being here with you.